The Gauteng Department of Human Settlements is calling on the police to act swiftly and arrest suspects responsible for the murder of one of their employees. 52-year-old Teboho Makhoa was found dead in his vehicle in the early hours of Saturday morning in Ekurhuleni. The vehicle had a number of bullet holes. MEC Maile, Teboho Makhoa is briefing the media. Let's cross to that live.
Invasion of the land, though they project this as some pro-revolutionary program of redistributing land and giving our people land and houses. It's not. It's just a pure criminal activity. And that's why we are saddened that today we have to lose one of our hard-working, dedicated, and one of the long-serving staff members the way we did. So that's why we are here today. So I'm going to ask the mayor, because the mayor has known the deceased for about 25 years. He has been in the structures of the ANC. Though there was some article which says a leader of the ANC in Zwandile Masina's region. He was not the leader of the ANC. He was a member, supporter, but pure hard-working civil servant, very honest. And that's why he still lived a humble life, and he still lives in Sprayview, not in fancy suburbs and all that, because it shows that he was a very honest civil servant. So I would ask the mayor to say something, and then I will ask Mrs. Piri on behalf of the family just to say one or two things. Then we'll take questions, and I'll ask that your questions must not relate to the investigations, because we are not the police. We will not also, even if we had some information, we will not want to jeopardize the investigations. Mayor Masina.
Thank you very much, MEC and Mrs. Piri. Indeed, we are here as a city to pay our last respect and pass our condolences to the family for the passing of the fellow comrade, Teboho Makhoa, whom I have known for over 25 years. We grew up in the same township. He was one of those role models who went to university first, together with the people of his generation, and we all followed after them. I have seen him from his first day working for the provincial government to the last day. In fact, the last time we were with him with the MEC, we were opening a project here in Ekurhuleni in Bedford View, one of the most amazing projects that is human settlement run by black professionals. We had a chat with him there. But throughout his life, what we have read is disinformation. Throughout his life, he was a humble servant of the people. He was never corrupt. And I'm sure in all the investigations that will happen, it will be clarified that he never got involved in some RDP selling schemes. He's not a kind of person. It was not in his nature. He would not have done that. We are quite certain about that. So what we want is for the truth to come through, so that the family and the children can have closure. I actually, as we were growing up, maintained a very strong professional relationship with the ex-wife, Memi Poni. So I've worked with her throughout all the institutions of government because of how close we were as a family, including some of the things that we have been able to do together. It is a sad day to come. I never thought that a humble person like him will be killed so brutally. I always say, I was saying to the MEC, because we make this decision, it's us who's supposed to be killed like this, because we have taken keen decisions that we want to provide human settlement to all our people. But we can only do so orderly and within the ambit of the law. So if officials are executing their responsibilities of ensuring that there is law and order in the country, we cannot accept this brutal murder of shooting someone, I'm told, almost 28 times. It's brutal. I don't understand, and I think that we are happy, MEC, that the provincial government has come in with additional capabilities to take the case to the provincial office so that we can speed the case. And we're calling those who might have some information of what would have happened to come forward to speak, because I don't think that it is right. We can accept that a humble life like that, can be shot in so many, with so many, life ammunition. So I think that it is not acceptable. So I hear as government to condemn in the strongest possible sense this senseless killing of honest government officials, because we're going to struggle now to have people who will go to communities to serve the very same people. And it is indeed a disservice, I think, to the people of this area. We have, during the term of 5 years, built almost 50,000 houses and handed over almost 19,000 service sites to our people, because we understand how crucial is the area of human settlement in our space. And we're doing all this in ensuring that we can ensure that there is no deserving applicant who does not have houses. And that could only happen through a beneficiary administration that is administered by the province. The last thing that I want to clarify, which was the distortion, is that he did not work for the municipality. He was born here, bred here, studied at Vets, stayed here. He worked for the provincial government. He worked very close, because you cannot do human settlement if the municipality is not linked to the province and national. So this is one department practically on every day. Everything that we do, we are intertwined. So he worked for the provincial government. He did not work for the seat of Ekurhuleni, but he worked very close with the seat of Ekurhuleni. And we just want to say condolences to the family, as we have said inside. And we hope that those who have committed this act will be apprehended soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I will ask Mrs. Piri. Tsepiso, no?
Tsepiso.
Yes, Tsepiso.
Good afternoon. Thank you for making the time to be here. Can you hear me? Great. As a family, we are shattered and devastated by this heinous crime that's been committed against Teboho Makhoa. Teboho was my uncle. He is lost to his 5 children today, and growing up and even today in my life, he's always been a leader in our family. He's always been a kind person, very humble, very committed, very honest. So we were quite devastated yesterday when all these speculations were being put out on social media. We ask at this time to be given space to mourn our uncle, our father, and to allow us to come to terms with this horrific experience that we're going through. And that is it from our side. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So what I'll do now, I'll ask members of the media who want to ask questions to raise your hand, and then you indicate which media house you come from, and you ask your question. Let me start. No, not Samge. I want to end with Samge. Malungelo. So I'll start with Malungelo, and then 2, 3, and then Samgelo. The problematic chap. Also, Golisavan Bose Kosi. Yeah.
MEC Malungelo boy from Newsroom Africa. I just want to get an indication then, because one of the things he said to me is that some of your officials are being targeted. Were there any signs prior to this incident that, his life was in danger? Or were there signs that were there, red flags, for example? And what is it then that was done, if there were any of those, to sort of like protect this?
Yeah, look, we did not know of any, or rather, there was never any report brought to us. From time to time, we receive reports about some of the officials who are targeted for this or that reason, and we will always inform the police if that happens. So I can confirm that we, at least at the level of the Executive Council, we have not been informed of any threats to him, to the deceased at least. Yeah.
But what's going to be done then to protect others? Because
yeah, I think, look, we've got more than 800 employees, and you will know that the police have measures in place. If there's a threat in your life, the police must be brought to the attention of the police, and they must do an assessment and do all that, because that is the function of law enforcement. So I wouldn't want to speak like a competent authority on law enforcement, except to say we condemn any attack on government employees, and we will do everything in our power to protect especially the honest government employees, because we also don't want to create an impression that everybody is honest in government. And that is why if there's people who are doing wrong things and who are not honest, we will definitely not protect them. We will not defend anybody who's not honest. But we've got hard-working, honest employees like the deceased who need our support, who need our protection as government, working with law enforcement agencies.
Thank you very much, MEC. My name is Lungane from Kasi FM. We understand that Mr. Teboho was part of that delegation that was, giving notices of eviction in Palm Ridge. Are you going to see the department going forward implementing those eviction notices? Yeah.
You are now even mentioning projects which we didn't want to. So I would want you to be responsible in how we deal with this. But where we have court orders to evict people, and we have said this without any fear of contradiction, we are going to evict people. We are going to evict. So it's not about a specific area. That's why I want us to be responsible, because it has implications on the case and all that. But as a matter of principle, where people have occupied land and houses illegally and we've got court orders, the only reason we had not moved with the speed that we're supposed to is because of the delays in court, but also the regulations, as you know. But anywhere where people have occupied illegally, we are going to evict them.
From the Sowetan. Even if you were not to be specific about a project, but what are the general problems of housing projects in Ekurhuleni?
Well, look, you can't talk just about Ekurhuleni, but maybe the MMC can add on this one. And it depends in which context are you raising it, because firstly, there's always issue of bulk, shortage of bulk resources. We might have land, but there is no connection to water, to electricity, then all that. But secondly, there will also be, every time you bring new settlements, it adds into the load of the municipality for power, for water, and all that. So that's what I'm saying. It depends in which context you are asking the question and what kind of answer you want. So there are several problems, including these two that and then you've got sometimes contractors that are not competent and they don't finish on time, and then it creates other problems like rollovers and not being able to provide the houses with the required speed that we should be.
Okay, can I bring my context?
Yes.
Problems that could cause conflict.
Well, in Gauteng, we've got about 1 million people who need houses in the National Housing Register. The National Housing Register is managed national. The system is managed national, so that we are able to know that Goge from KZN or Penuel from wherever don't have to come to Gauteng and ask for a house when they have a house elsewhere and all that. So there's about 1 million people who need houses in Gauteng. So the reason I'm starting there is because we are not able to build 1 million houses instantly. But also that's a moving target, because as you know, because of urban migration, people come to Gauteng. About close to 300,000 people come to Gauteng every year. And that's why when you look at the problems that we have in the health, they have an impact in our health institutions, in our schools, and everywhere else. So you'll always have people feeling that they must always be first on the queue and all that. And that's where some of the problems, like corruption, find space there, because you've got some silly and corrupt officials sometimes in the municipalities or in the province who try to end up giving people houses, allocating people who are not the rightful beneficiaries and all that. So it's a problem that we are continuously dealing with. Samkelo?
MEC Maile, Samkelo Masewa from the SABC. Just a pointed question to you. What were the motives that you may have been given thus far for the killing of Mr. Teboho? And if you were alerted of those motives, how far are you in alerting your staff members as the MEC of Human Settlements that their lives may be in danger in the province? Thirdly, to you, were there allegations of bribery, monies, exchanges between the deceased and those who may have perpetrated this horrendous crime against him? Since you say he's a dedicated, well-behaved and seasoned employee, were there any nefarious dealings that he may have been involved in? Thirdly, Mr.
Fourthly,
the NMC of housing in Ekurhuleni. You are the one who has worked with this particular individual who is now deceased for the longest of time since he became NMC. Were you alerted of any of the allegations that have been going on in social media that he was part of those who were selling RPG houses and involved in nefarious dealings within the municipality and the provincial government? And to the mayor, Mafina, why do you think Ekurhuleni is special that you don't switch off electricity during load shedding? Thank you.
Okay, the mayor would, you know, there is no allegation of corruption in the department that I'm not aware of, because we receive a report on a monthly basis. And I can tell you now that there is no report on my table about allegations of corruption against the deceased. Yeah. There isn't. The deceased has never been investigated. So, you know, you've got people who are insensitive, who are inhumane. We have lost our morality as a society. I mean, how do you fabricate allegations about somebody you don't know? I mean, I was reading on Twitter, the people who were responding to the tweet that is it Yusuf Abrahamji made. Those people don't even, they are just speculating and all that. How can you be so insensitive? They have not even met the deceased, and they make such allegations. And that's why we want people to desist from accusing people of corruption without any basis. We know that corruption is a problem, and we've got corrupt people in our system. And that's why we're doing everything in our power. We always say that every time we act against them, you guys don't report about it. We have fired people for corruption. I have fired people for corruption in this Department of Human Settlement. And we will fire even more people. He was not in the line of people who's going to be fired. Because, as I've said, he was not a corrupt. Unless if anybody makes allegations against somebody, they must prove them. And that's why I don't play with people like those. I sue them. People make allegations.
All right, we apologize for that abrupt ending there, but we do have to come to a close. My colleague Flo Letwaba will have more news for you at the top of the hour. We say goodbye. See you tomorrow.